everyone, I'm Rebecca and welcome back to my channel. Today we are packing for a costumed trip. More specifically, this is actually my Disney World trip, but the way that I function when I go to Disney World is basically that it's a costumed trip. I have specific outfits, they are all vintage style outfits, and I have planned them out for every day. And that you're going to hear me repeat kind of a lot in this video probably is planning. Because how do you make sure that you don't forget anything when you go on a trip? You plan ahead. So if you are planning for a costumed trip, you want to start figuring out your packing list at least 3+ days ahead. 3 is pushing it, honestly. Right now, today that I'm filming this is 4 days ahead of my trip. I actually wrote out my entire packing list yesterday and it took me about 2 hours. So yeah, be prepared for that if you don't want to forget anything. Now, in the case of this trip, this is actually an 11-day vacation. So it is super, super long. I've never taken a costumed trip this long before, so there's going to be a lot of, can I actually get this all into my one suitcase? That is my plan, is that I want everything that I'm bringing to fit in this large suitcase, which will be my checked bag, plus one small rolling carry-on. I'm really hoping I can do this, but of course we're gonna find out in the course of this video if everything will fit into that suitcase. So as I mentioned, the number one thing that you need to do is plan. And that goes for more than just writing your packing list. If you are planning a costumed trip, you need to plan ahead what you are wearing each day. And I'm talking outer layers, under layers, accessories, shoes, hats or headwear, everything. You need to know day by day, or in some cases you might have multiple outfits within one day. You need to know all of that ahead of time. So for the case of this trip, I'm going with my 2 best friends, and in several of our days, we are coordinating our outfits. So we actually had a planning session where we got together and said, okay, hey, I'm wearing this on this day, I'm wearing this on this day. Oh, what day should we wear this? Okay, we're gonna wear this on this day. We wrote it all down. From there, I took those dates and then I broke down each outfit. And I wrote down what shoes I would need, what camisoles I would need, the outer garment layers, skirts, shirts, sweaters, headwear, etc. I wrote all of that down, and this is what my packing list looks like. This is how I do my packing list. So up here at the top, I write down all of the things as they kind of come to me that are not day-by-day outfits. So things like underwear, phone chargers, toiletries, etc. All of that goes up here. Then over here, I've written out day by day what is required in each outfit. So things like a specific jumper or a shirt or an umbrella because it's supposed to rain that day, etc. So all of these are day by day, and I try to remember everything. The start of the trip, I will put in things like a camisole, or like I need 3 white camisoles total. I'll put in shorts, I'll put in petticoats, etc. And then as those have already been taken up by something before them, I don't need to put them on here again because I've already packed them for a reason. So this is everything for all of the 11 days. It's kind of a lot. So as you might have guessed, by packing 11 days of vintage or vintage inspired looks, that actually takes up a lot of room. I have parts of the piles that you can see in frame here. You're not seeing the bottoms of the piles, and this isn't actually everything. And all of this needs to get into my suitcase. So the next part of the question is sort of planning out how to pack and how to be able to access things once you actually get there. Now, in our case, we are actually moving hotels partway through our trip. So we're staying for 1 week of the trip at a timeshare off Disney property, and then we are moving for the last, I think, 3 days to an on-property Disney hotel to Pop Century. And so I really won't need anything that I'm using for the Pop Century part of the trip. I won't need any of that for the first part of the trip. And so all of those things can kind of be your bottom base layer in the suitcase. Everything else, once we get to the hotel, I am going to take out the outer layers and hang them up, and in some cases steam them, because I am bringing a small steamer, because this is a lot of cotton and cotton wrinkles. Okay, this isn't cotton, but underneath is cotton and cotton wrinkles. So you need to be able to steam your garments or do something with them. Ironing can be a challenge a lot of times on a lot of garments, and so I recommend, if you have a small steamer, and I'm talking like about this big small steamer, that you do bring it. I always bring mine to costume college as well. And a lot of the tips that I'm going to be talking about within this video can also be applied to historical costuming or cosplay trips as well. I do plan to do another video when it comes time for costume college. I actually planned to do that video like a year and a half ago when there was supposed to be a costume college, and then of course it got canceled for 2 years, and so I still haven't filmed it. But eventually I'll be able to take a historically costumed trip and I will show you how to plan that. It's honestly super, super similar. It's just that the garments in those cases take up even more room than the vintage garments, even though these are a lot. Like, I picked up these 5 dresses earlier, and oh my god, they weigh so much. How do they weigh so much? They're only 5 dresses. And that's the other thing. This suitcase has to be under 50 pounds. Wish me luck. So, as I was mentioning, the things that you know that you're not going to need can be a bottom layer in your suitcase. Everything else you can put on top of that. If you are putting shoes on top of that bottom layer, I recommend wrapping them in something, or just putting plastic underneath or something to make it so that your soles of your shoes don't transfer dirt onto any of your clothes. So shoe bag, shoe plastic, again, something. But keep in mind that you should also be using your shoes to pack other things within them. So don't make it so that you can't access the shoes, like don't fully wrap them up. You want to stuff your socks and underwear inside your shoes. Anything that is small like that, socks, underwear, camisoles, bike shorts, anything like that, you want to be able to put that into something else. So in my case, I'm going to be bringing at least 2, if not 3, Loungefly backpacks. All of those are going to be stuffed with things other than the one that I'm actually using as my purse on the plane. So going back to the kind of compartmentalizing your packing into what days you're going to use things, anything that you want to be using your first or second day, put that in your carry-on bag. This is why I always, always bring a rolling carry-on bag, because you want stuff to be in there in case they lose your suitcase. Especially as a plus size person, if they lose my suitcase, I might not be able to find clothes where I'm going. Like, you just never know. And in these cases, everything is so specialized. It would be such heartbreak if they lost it. So please God, I really hope that I never experience a lost suitcase. That would be just absolutely awful. Anyway, that is why I'm packing day 1 and day 2 in my carry-on. So let me show you the carry-on pile. So over here we have the pile that is going into the carry-on. So this is everything that I need outfit-wise for day 1 and day 2 of the trip. Now by outfit-wise, I mean it's got things like the dresses and tops and sweaters actually, and ears, but it doesn't necessarily have all the undergarments and stuff. I did put socks over here, but for example, over here, I've got kind of all of the staples and everything. So bike shorts, camisoles, tights, etc. That is all over here. And these I do by count. So I've got like all the bike shorts, all the camisoles, a whole pile of socks, and these will then get distributed into the other suitcases, but it's just easier when there's multiples to start it here, and then I can put it into other piles like I've done these socks right here. Now, if more than just this plus toiletries fits in the carry-on, then I will put some of day 3 stuff into the carry-on as well, but I want to make sure that all of day 1 and day 2 fits first, and then I will see if I can fit extras. You guys, I am trying to film, and you just want to keep playing, and you're nervous because there's a suitcase out, but I'm actually trying to film. Excuse me, you're getting very close to the camera. Yes, Lion, oh dear, You guys, really? Really? That's my packing list, Dora. This is life as a pet owner. Don't get the fur on the clothes. Oh dear, she's stolen my hand. She stole my hand. So as you're packing, you want to make sure that you have your list handy so that you can check everything off as you put it into the suitcase. Do not check anything off until it is in the suitcase. I don't care if it's in a pile right next to the suitcase. I don't care if it's on top of the suitcase. Don't check it off until it's in the suitcase, or you will think that it is in there and it might go astray. I do recommend writing your lists on paper just because I find that it's a lot easier to do the checking off. And also if you have a thought of, oh my gosh, I need to add sunscreen to my list, I can put that on my suitcase. Speaking of sunscreen, keep in mind that anything that is a large quantity, like most sunscreens, you are going to have to put in your checked bag. You can't put that in your carry-on bag. So in the case of sunscreen, you may want to bring a very small travel-sized one and put that in your carry-on because it's very important when you go to a place like Disney World. You may want to put that in your carry-on. Then you can bring the full-size one bagged up in the Ziploc bag. You can put that in your checked bag, and that way you don't have to worry about burning through or not having enough of your small sunscreen. But you also don't have to worry about, shoot, my suitcase didn't make it, I really need sunscreen. I don't want to buy it from the Disney World park where it's going to be $20. So with our list, we are now going to start actually putting things in the suitcase. And as I mentioned, we are going to work in layers. So we're going to work backwards, starting with the last day of my vacation, and that is going to go in the first layer. Now, I have also written down at the bottom of here specifically what shoes I need, but I also have them in the days that I'm going to be using them. And that is so I know all of these shoes need to go in the bag, but also when in the trip I plan to use those shoes. And I am actually bringing several pairs of shoes. I think I'm bringing like 5 or 6 pairs of shoes, and that is because Disney requires so much walking that I don't want to have the same pair of shoes every day because otherwise my feet will hurt the same every day. I want my feet to hurt in different ways every day, or ideally not to hurt at all, but when you walk 20,000 steps a day, that's not an option. Also, I do have a little caveat that I won't actually be packing my shoes in this video, or at least not most of them, because I need to re-break in one of my pairs of shoes. I've worn it for 2 Dapper days, and then I tried to wear it to Disneyland this summer, and instantly when I put them on, they were pinching my feet, so I did not even wear them out to the park. I don't know what happened between 2019 November and July 2021 to make those shoes get pinchy, but I'm re-breaking those in this week, and if they don't break in, they're not coming with me. And then I also ordered 3 different pairs of shoes from Amazon to try to find what's going to be the best, like, comfy sneaker walking shoe, and I have not yet decided on which pair I'm keeping. So those also are not getting packed yet. So shoes in my case may wind up being quite towards the top of the suitcase, but I recommend putting them in the layers if you're able to. So how do you get this amount of clothes to fit in your suitcase? You roll them. So for me, I'll take a dress like this. This is my Snow White dress that I'll be wearing on our final partial day at the parks. And I fold it a little bit so that it's kind of in a column like this. And then starting with this part right here, I roll it. And you want to roll it nice and tightly. Remember, we are going to steam these, so wrinkles don't matter. And frankly, there's nothing that you can do to avoid wrinkles in your suitcase anyway. So you want to roll that really nice and tightly, and then you can stick that in your suitcase. Keep in mind too that if you have a suitcase that is a soft side and you have the sort of bars of your handle going through, you can use those bars to help these rolls actually stay, and you can put them in between the bars and it will sort of cup each roll like this and help it stay rolled up. In my case, this dress also has a specific belt. So I am actually going to continue the roll with this belt, because that way I know that it will stay together with this outfit. This belt is not used in any other outfit, so it's a really nice way to keep it nice and safe. The accessory for this outfit though will go with my ears and hats because I don't want this headband to break. So this will be going with those, probably within a Loungefly. And now that the Snow White dress and belt are in the suitcase, I can go ahead and cross those off. However, I am not crossing off the headband because it is not yet actually in the suitcase. Occasionally you might have an item like this Rapunzel dress that really can't roll like that because it has boning right here. Now this is just plastic boning, so I could potentially roll it if I wanted to, but I want to minimize the amount of roll that it might get. So for this, instead of just folding in half, I am actually going to tuck up the sleeves, basically shortening it until the boning is just what's right here. And then once your sleeves are tucked in, you can kind of tuck the skirt around like we did on Snow White and fold it like this. And this one we are going to just fold again right here at the bottom of the boning. And then we're going to try and keep it in a nice little tight fold like this. This should still be able to fit in one of those sort of strips between the handle. Remember what I said about fitting small things wherever you can? There's kind of a divot that gets created between these rolls, so I'm putting my Pascal plush upside down within that divot so that he can help fill up that space. He goes with my Rapunzel outfit, of course. You can also put smaller garments between. Since Rapunzel is a larger dress and she had to be folded instead of rolled, there wasn't much of a divot between these two. However, with Merida and Snow White, there was all of this divot. There was quite a lot of room. So in that space, I have put the belt for Merida and a sweater and blouse for the day before Merida, which will go with the fireworks skirt. I was trying to put the Cinderella dress in my suitcase, but someone thinks she's going to Florida. Dora, you're not going to Florida, and this is not your bathtub. So in just this first layer here of the large suitcase, I already have about half of the whole trip packed. So I have everything from the 17th through the 22nd in here, and it goes up from the top where the 17th is, and then all the way down to the 22nd down there at the bottom. And everything here is just the first layer. There's enough for a second layer here, maybe even a third depending on how things pack. But in this sort of second or in between layer, this is where I'm going to put things that might be fragile. So for example, the stuff that Dora is laying on. For example, my ears, get off my ears! My ears, my vintage hats, etc. Oh my God, Dora. They are all going to go in this second layer because that way they will be coated by a cat. That way there will be another layer of clothing on top of them, not a cat, to protect them from any bumps or falls that the suitcase might cause. Don't worry, I am packing a lint roller. This is now all of the clothes, ears, bags, etc. Everything except the shoes, and if there's any other extraneous things that need to go on there from the main list, that is in the suitcase. And as you can tell, I don't know how well you can tell, but there's lots of room here, like the depth, there's a few inches to the top here. So this is the only area where it's kind of to the top is where the backpack is. And this backpack is containing 3 of my pairs of ears. And I decided not to put anything else in there just because there are the 3 of them in there. Oh, actually it does have my Disney pins in the front of the backpack as well. So yeah, that is everything for now. Plenty of room for shoes on top here. I will put like a plastic layer on top, and I do want something to go over this hat. If I don't wind up putting shoes there, I will actually move one of these 2 dresses and flatten them out and put them over the hat, just so the hat is like in and protected and these socks and headbands and stuff don't go anywhere. So a carry-on bag is ultimately way more challenging because it has to pack the clothes and stuff for the first couple days. I'm hoping it will pack this backpack that has my ears, and I put all of my socks and underwear for the first few days in there. And then there's all of like the random things like sunglasses, masks, a tennis ball to roll my arches on for my tired feet. This is actually all filled with earrings, pins, and necklaces for various jewelry for all the outfits. So there's that stuff. I don't even have my toiletry bag over here here yet. There's the shoes for the first 2 days. There's a lot of stuff that has to go in the carry-on. So we have to be really careful about putting things in here so that we can actually fit it all. I am going to start off though with the clothing items over here. And then this pair of shoes is for the first day. So they will go on top of these clothing items. Unfortunately, the second pair of shoes are the ones that I'm trying to break in, so I can't put them down in the bottom where they should go. And I have to leave room for the large things like this backpack and also like my toiletry bag. Smaller things like curling irons, hair straighteners, etc. Those can go easily in here. In fact, I think I might even put my curling iron in this bag because I don't plan to use it for the first couple days, not until Dapper Day. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's going to go in here. So this is rather haphazard, but this is what this looks like so far. I haven't actually gone through my toiletry bag, which is what this is, to make sure that I have everything up to date that I need and everything in there. There's going to be things like my toothbrush and stuff that won't get packed until the night before. So they will probably not be in this video because this has to be edited by then. But the toiletry bag basically will take up that space. There'll be some other things in there as well, but the majority of everything is now packed in there, and likewise in here. It's really all going to be like makeup, stuff like that, which make sure you keep room for your makeup bag in here. But yeah, makeup, toiletries, etc. That's what's still left to go in here. And there should be enough room even to put that extra pair of shoes. The one other thing that I'm not sure there's going to be room for is that I was hoping to put that petticoat in that carry-on bag because I would like to wear this petticoat the first day, and just in case I would like it in there. I don't, however, want to wear it on the plane because it is poofier than the one I'm currently wearing, which is the one I'd be wearing on the plane. So this is also what this one looks like. I've put things like the steamer and the curling iron in there now. Again, still plenty of room for shoes. I guess it's probably not obvious how much room there is right here, but again, there's a few inches. The other thing that I recommend bringing is some sort of a duffel, because if you want to buy souvenirs, I have a feeling I'm going to buy a lot of souvenirs this trip, even though I don't normally, but if you want to buy souvenirs and you're worried about potentially maybe having to check this bag on the way home to fit more souvenirs, you could always take a soft-sided bag like this on the plane. I usually put this in the outside of this suitcase. It adds a little layer of protection as well for things like the steamer or the curling iron that tend to be a little bit more on top. And then I have the spare bag that really folds up really nice and flat that I can use to take stuff home. I think a lot of you might be wondering how I actually pack this in a suitcase at all. So I figured I would show you how I roll these up. I start with the elasticy part up here at the top, fold it in half, and then kind of tuck this around while holding this part under my chin. And I just tuck this bottom part around and then start to roll it up towards my chin, and then I use the elastic up here, the elastic and spandexy part of this. This is a Malco Modes petticoat, by the way. That's probably the most asked question that I get on this channel is, where do I get my petticoats, or do I make them, or whatever. They're all Malco Modes petticoats. I will link them down below. Highly, highly recommend them. They are just fantastic. And as you can see, it has folded up pretty nice and small. It can squish smaller, so if you have things that need to fit in your suitcase, you can just like squish this a bit. I try not to do much squishing to it. This isn't actually squishing it, like it's just holding it in place. But if you squish it, you will kind of start to break down the netting. So I try not to do too much of that. But this is the way that I store them if I'm not going to use them for a long time at home as well. These I use every day, so I hang these up in the closet. But this is how I'm going to put it in my suitcase also. And then sort of the last thing that you're going to want to pack is going to want to be a tote bag for the plane. So I got this one at Ross a long time ago, but it's actually like an athletic yoga bag or something like that. Like originally these straps were meant to hold a yoga mat at the bottom, and I sewed them shut so they wouldn't come undone. But I really like this one because it is just the right size to fit underneath the seat if you squish it a little, and it can hold a lot of things. So I can actually take like my backpack or whatever I'm using for my purse, which in this case is this Cinderella Lounge Fly backpack, and I can take this and I can put it inside the tote bag. But it's not what I put in there first, because anything else you're going to want on the plane, neck pillow, headphones, etc. You want to put that in there. Snacks, because, you know, airport food is expensive. Put that in there. Make sure in your purse you also have things that you might need when you get to your destination. So besides all the normal purse essentials, when you're going to Disney, things that you might need right away are pins for pin trading the first day, your magic band if you're using magic bands, things like that. So I always put those in my purse. I'm not going to put it in there now because there's still 3 days till my vacation, but they will go in my purse. And then in the tote bag, besides the bigger things you're putting in, like the headphones and the neck pillow, bring wet wipes. Now we all kind of take precautions on planes, but I'm that weird person who always used to wipe down every surface even pre-COVID. So yeah, bring wet wipes, wipe down every surface on the plane. They're gross. And I also have earplanes so my ears don't pop and hurt on the plane. Bring a sweater because planes, you never know how they're gonna be. You might even want a little like fold out blanket. I don't get that cold, but also you don't want to use a plain blanket because gross. So if you do get cold, bring a little blanket or something. But yeah, a sweater, and then you can put your backpack or your purse or whatever on top. Just make sure that it will fit, which I've got my neck pillow in the way right now, so it's not going to. And there we go. There's the tote bag for the plane. So that's the last bag that I'll be taking. So I managed to fit everything in one checked bag plus the rolling carry-on and my tote bag, which is exactly what I was aiming for. There is still room to spare, so that is fantastic. Obviously, I do have some other things that I still need to pack. I need to pack my makeup. I need to pack things that I'm still wearing. Like there's a couple pairs of underwear that need to go in here because I need to do laundry first and other things like that. So smaller things, but pretty much everything is packed. I've gone through my list. I have almost everything on here. Really, it's the makeup, it's the phone charger, camera charger, etc. All of those things that I'm still going to be using in the next few days. Those are so important to pack. I like to pack my chargers in my tote bag because you just never know what you're going to need to charge on the plane. So, and also you might want adapters because pretty much all of my chargers are USB-C. Planes are USB. So bring an adapter for your USB-C to USB to be able to charge on the plane. And I also haven't packed my sunscreen yet. My sunscreen is full size, my larger sunscreen. So that will go in the checked bag, but I will also be bringing a small sample size sunscreen for putting in my carry-on bag so that I can have that right away on the plane. I might even actually just put that right in my backpack purse. And that's about it. Other than that, it's just those shoes that I have to figure out what I'm actually wearing / break them in the next few days. So if I have anything else to share as far as me packing in the next couple of days, I will add that into this video next. The one last tip, when you are all packed and everything has been crossed off your list, take your page, your packing list, rip it out of your little book or whatever you're using, and put it in your suitcase. That way you actually remember what you had planned to wear each day. Thank you all so much for joining me today. I do hope that this video was helpful for you. Again, this sort of packing can be applied to any costume situation, whether you are doing historical, cosplay, vintage style like this. Heck, you can even apply a lot of these tips just to packing in general. If you plan things out, if you know what you're wearing, packing will be so much easier for you. You won't overpack. You will only wind up bringing those essentials that you need, and you won't wind up forgetting anything, which is the biggest issue. So again, I do hope that this was helpful. If you like this video, please go ahead and click the thumbs up icon. And if you'd like to see more videos like this from me, please go ahead and click subscribe and the little bell icon to be notified every time I post a new video. I do post videos here on YouTube twice a week, with my sewing vlogs out on Tuesdays and other random costuming content like this out on Saturdays, but I post every day over on my Instagram, so please go follow me on Instagram. That's @LadyRebeccaFashions. And if you'd like to help support all of the work that I do on this channel, I do have a link to my Patreon and my Ko-fi down in the description below. I'd also like to give a special shout out to my Edwardian level patron, Sharon. Thank you all so much for joining me today. Have a wonderful week, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Happy sewing!